Hey everyone, this is Big Guy DIY, Robert. Today's little project is this Ford F-150. They have a notorious, well I should say they are notorious for using aluminum heat shields on their exhaust. The problem with that, and I'm going to ramble a little on this one, is aluminum and steel you can't put together unless you have an insulator between the two. Steel corrodes aluminum. And so what happens is with these heat shields that are being up against, say, an exhaust manifold or even the exhaust, I don't want to say downpipe, the cross pipe that's underneath the truck, these heat shields made of aluminum begin to corrode. Now my pickup truck's only 6 years old, and I'm going to show you what I mean when this aluminum shields corrode and why I'm working on this. So use my flashlight. Let's turn around and take a look at a shield. This engine is a 5-liter engine. The truck is a 2014 F150. I'm going to zoom in on that spot right there. See if I can get my camera correctly. Okay, this is here an aluminum shield that's on the exhaust manifold, which is attached to the block. So let me zoom in and let the camera focus here. As you can see, the aluminum shield hole is a lot bigger than that bolt. Okay, that bolt, I apologize for not focusing in on it. The camera won't do it. But what's happening is that aluminum shield is corroding away from the steel bolts. So the problem I have, we're going to go to the other side of the pickup. This is the driver's side. If you could see that shield, how it's just sitting there, that's come off the exhaust manifold completely. So I'm going to switch to my headlight and I'm going to reach down in there with my hand. So as you can see, I could, there we go. It's a very difficult camera angle, but I can move this shield around. There we go, because it's not attached to anything. So what I have to do to try to fix this is I gotta unscrew that one bolt, and then there's another bolt that goes over that hole. But as you can see, the space here, back up, it's only like 2.5 inches. There's no way to get your hand in there. It's just not possible. So I zoom back, you can see the steering column here. The steering column is a male-female joint, which means this piece here is the male part. And further down here is the female part, and it slides in and out of this, so it's telescopic. So you have to detach your steering column here where this universal joint is by unbolting this bolt, which I've taken it off, so I'm going to show you now. This is metric, 13 millimeters. So once you pull that out, you will have to take a small, you can use a screwdriver or I forgot the name of the tool, I'll put it in on the comments. But you got to get a tool into here and you got to start spreading this out, because that bolt pinches this upper piece to this lower piece. to hold it onto this steering column right here. Once you get it to spread a little, take a small mallet and just hammer it off. Now that it's off, I'm just going to move it out of the way. I'm just going to let it fall forward. Okay, so now this area is wide open to get at that shield, and that's this thing right here. The bolt that's on a manifold is, I believe, 8 millimeters. I was corrected. Or no, I'm right. That bolt is 8 millimeters. So that bolt has to come off, and then I got to try to get the bolt that would go through that hole. There is another hole further in to the left, but there's just no way to get that. You can't get your hand in on it. So let's take that bolt off, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. All right. So the bolt has been removed from that hole. You can't see the hole just because of the angle. And then you can see how the other bolt has been removed. Here they are. The reason I'm not removing this shield here is because I mean, there's a reason they put it there. So I'm going to try to keep it installed. So what I have to figure out, which I know I'm going to do, is I'm going to try to find a washer that won't corrode this aluminum as quickly as it has. The other thing that drove me crazy with that shield is it sat against the frame here. That's the frame. And when the shield sat against that, all it did was just rattle and rattle like crazy. And it was loud. So it's been going on for quite a long time, and I thought it was the heat shield underneath on the cross pipe for the exhaust, but that is still a solid contact. We're going to fix this one right now. Let me go get some washers. The washers I'm going to use, these are a bit thicker than your normal washer. You can see there's washers on these bolts already, and they won't come off because the bolt is designed where that washer stays on there, so when you take that out. So I'm going to a much thicker washer. This is about twice the thickness of a regular washer. It's galvanized. It's a zinc plated steel, and with that it's going to last a bit longer. It's not going to corrode as quickly. So we're going to reinstall these back onto that shield. So now our heat shield is reinstalled on the exhaust manifold. So there's one bolt, and here's the other bolt. Those two bolts there are holding this aluminum shield back on the exhaust manifold. So now we're going to reconnect our steering column back to this piece right here. I can reach it right there, and it's falling forward, but I'm going to throw a little grease on there, a little anti-seize grease. Should this ever happen again, it'll come off easier. Now when you go to reattach your steering column here, there's actually a groove on the side of your post, steering post or column post that comes out. That bolt that's like a keyway. Your bolt has to match with that. So when you reattach your piece, make sure that lines up. We're lined up here, so this bolt should just slide right through. There. Steering column back in place. Since that one side had a large hole around the bolt, I'm going to pull this one out as well on the passenger side. Put a new washer on that one. The front two, I don't know if we could see them. There's one right there. Are not corroded out. Well, actually it is. Here, there it is. That's it right there. So we're going to take that one out as well and replace it. Here's the passenger side. I was not able to get the rear bolt off the manifold. It was stripped, and you can't really get in there with vice grips at all. But I was able to get the front one with a new washer on there, so when that gets to the level of corrosion, it'll at least hold it. There is another bolt. Here's the other bolt on the back side of the manifold. So there's 3 bolts. So you got 1, 2, 3, and that goes for both the driver's side and passenger side. So I took the truck out for a test drive, and of course there was still more rattling. So let me show you where the other rattling is. This here is the cross pipe between each side of the down exhaust. So here's your cat. Here's your other cat. And right on the top here, that's another shield protecting the upper case of the transmission. Those are tack welded on and they come loose. This tack weld that I'm highlighting right here with the hose clamp, that tack weld had come loose. So now there's no more rattling. So those are the heat shields that you need to check on the Ford. I'm all sweaty here because it's hot as hell. But those are the 3 shields. The 2 on the exhaust manifold is very, very difficult to record because its position, it's underneath the manifold, and so even if you go underneath the truck, you're still not going to see that shield. Your best view is from the top of the engine, and you'll have to use a step ladder to get to it. You're not going to be able to reach it just standing on the side, and I'm 6'3", and I can't reach it that easily. The other shield, you'll have to jack up your truck. As you can see, I have a floor jack, then I have two jack stands here to protect myself in case the floor jack fails. So playing it safe. So on that cross member, or on that pipe, that cross pipe, just use a hose clamp and clamp it on stainless steel, because I know hose clamps can come in different materials, but you want to use stainless steel on that, and that should eliminate all the rattling you'll have on your F150 until you buy a new one. So this is Big Guy signing off. Big Guy DIY Robert signing off. And have a great summer. Hopefully I'll get another video out. I know I have a Honda mower I got to work on, so I will record that. Take care.